What is up, guys? Today we're going to be doing this squelchy neuro bass. Well, you can decide. Well, I'll just play it for you. It sounds like this. So yeah, you can see how it's very squelchy. I've got a macro on here, so that changes the wavetables of the first oscillator. So we'll go through the tutorial, adjust it on 0% on the macro, so you can copy all the settings down, and then I'll show you all the modifier. Alright, so let's switch off all the effects first. Now the only third-party VST I'm using is Camel Crusher, but I assume a lot of you already have that. Right, so here we go. So that is very quiet. I'm going to turn this up. I have to remember it's about 60%. So to start off with, I've got Squelchy 1, which is in this spectral, and it's down here by Seamless. All I've got going here is envelope 1 on the wavetable position, so going from 0 to 130, pretty much just halfway. And you can do what you want with that, but I'm just having that so the first part's changing. I then have this. Now this LFO is key to your pattern, so you can change this however you want. I've just got it like this for now, and that's just changing the level of the oscillator volume. You could do this with a macro like I normally would, but I did it with an LFO this time, and it's probably a lot more complicated than it needs to be. But you know, it's done. Right. So at this stage, I wanted to FM this, so I added in basic shapes. Let me just turn it, yeah, just checking what the shape actually was. Basic shapes, I've got a triangle wave, and then I put bend plus minus, and then put all the way up to 100%, so you get this curvy shape. And then the wavetable, well, the wavetable's at 3 because it's basic shape. Same thing with the LFO, switch it on slightly. And that's pretty much it. And then I've got this another LFO which is working as an envelope. Should have mentioned that with the first one. They're both working as envelopes, so they just get to the end and finish. And that's what's going on this one here. Now you'll notice that nothing's actually changing, and that is because of the LFO here, because it fades in. If this is at the start, you can tell the difference. Now, if you're going to keep it like high attack, then you don't need to do this, but it sounds nice if you're having like loads of stab notes, then it's great. At this point, I put the effects on. So first putting the compressor on, multi-band. Going to turn that down a bit. So we've got the gain on 9, the ratio on 7, and the threshold on -15. And the attack is 90 and the release is 90. I think that's default. Bit of distortion. Now it's not doing much because I'm using X fader. Okay, I can't move that. X shaper, sorry. And A is the standard saw wave kind of shape, and the second one is this slight curve. And this is I was having some difficulties with the levels. It was quite funny, but this kind of rounded it off, and it was nice. Any more than that, it's a bit over the top, but you can actually tell that it's quieter because it's such a short slope, but it works. I've then got the dimension expander and only the dimension expander's on. That's on 25 and 13. And then an EQ, which is +5 on a shelf, 3.5 hertz, or 3.5 kilohertz. And then I've got a notch, which is -10, the Q is 50, and the frequency is 134. You can move this around depending, but it doesn't really matter. And I mean, it's a cool sound. but I use the reverb filter to get some interesting effects, and that's what really makes the sort of pitching effect. And so with that on, probably off, so off, on, much more sort of neuro kind of thing, and it even does like pitches the sound a bit, so it's going up and then back down. Excuse me, and again you can change this with the LFO. So yeah, and all of these parameters are being controlled by the LFO. And again, this macro one's just on the wavetable. Right, so that's it for inside Serum, which is great. You can put the sub in, but again, I didn't on this patch. Right, so outside Serum, I've got a gate on there, and you're probably wondering why. Serum does this sometimes. There's some sort of artifacts really, really low down, and sometimes when you're processing, like the compressor and distortion, you hear it. So that's just cutting off all this stuff that's underneath. Then got an EQ. I'm completely cutting by 15 decibels at 170. This creates space for snares, and just general muddiness is removed by doing this. And then I cut out 1.6 kilohertz because it really stuck out that frequency, and especially when you start distorting it, that's really horrible frequency to have. So again, I'll put an OTT after that. Ooh, I don't know what I meant to do like that. There you go, and that's on 40%, and then the rest is default. This is just leveling out most of the frequencies, and then that got quite loud. Camel Crusher now, the tubes, you can copy it on these settings because I can't read out the numbers. That, I'm not pushing it too hard, but it just, you know, distorts it slightly. And that's the sound pretty much. Just a saturator on the end to clip anything off. And that's it. Sounds really nice. I just need to find something to use this with. Right, so that's the tutorial done. Thank you very much for watching. More tutorials are on the way. Thank you very much. Bye.